What's up? Welcome to KWK Today. We're so happy you're here. Make a few announcements. Then we have the award-winning guest that I told you we were going to have, and so glad she's here. So, as they used to say back in the day, set your radio dials and call your family members, friends, and enemies. Tell them she's in the house and it's gonna roll. It's gonna be entertaining, engaging, and funny, I promise you. So listen, seriously, tonight, what's today? Friday, right? So Friday we got Diamonds and Pearls. They're doing what they normally do, good for them. Tonight also we wrap up R&R, Refreshing, Rejoicing, Restoration with Pastor Brenda Todd. The guests want to send a shout out to the production team and Worship and Arts Ministry. Silence your phone. And it's been rolling very well this week. We appreciate that. Tomorrow night is the virtual Passover Seder meal. We celebrate. That's Ron Bailey, y'all. Ron Bailey's computer just hollered at him. My homeboy from Cashmere High School. Come on back, Ron. We want to hear who's talking to you at 2 minutes after 1 o'clock on Friday. Yeah, KWK. So we are looking at the Passover. We celebrate Passover, as you know, because Jesus did. So we'll keep that moving, get details on the app and what have you. And this weekend, I know our guest is an honorary member of one sorority, but we have another sorority, Delta's, over at the Power Center Food Park this weekend. So they are going to provide funding for their favorite charity. We're also going to provide, obviously we're supporting Black food truck owners, and it's gonna be lit today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Check it out. New vendors are there, by the way, and we're gonna have a blast. Next weekend is Resurrection Weekend. 6 o'clock p.m., 5:30 a.m. on Sunday, 8 o'clock a.m. on Sunday, 10 o'clock a.m. on Sunday. Drive in right here at 6011 West Orem. Tell everybody, lottie-dottie, and D. And yes, we will have vaccinations here tomorrow, 1,500 doses, but look at here, sold out or registered out. They've already registered. Now, see, we try to tell y'all, when we make an announcement here, don't wait till the last minute. Jump on it. Jump on it. So we will do our best to have another vaccination moment, seriously, and we'll talk to the good folk at the city of Houston and elsewhere. But meanwhile, this one's sold out. Next week, we've got a great sister coming. She's gonna really bless you from here to there. But today is the one and only from Sterling High School.
Watch yourself, sir.
Texas Southern University.
You know it.
4-time Grammy Award winner, 4-time Dove Award winner, 5-time Dove Award winner, 16-time Stella Award winner,
yes, sir.
7-time NAACP Image Award winner, exactly. 2-time Soul Train winner.
Lady of Soul Award.
Lady of Soul, big time. 5-time BET Award winner. American Music Association Award winner.
Yes, sir.
And in 2017, drum roll please. The Music Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
Now let's see.
Yes,
Who
sir.
could that be? Doom, 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 doom. Yolanda Adams in the house.
How are you, Doc?
What's up, yo?
Everything is good.
How you feel?
Can't complain about a thing. Come on now.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, you know, come on now. When you call, it's like, what do you do?
That's the party line, and I appreciate it so much. So listen, let's just jump right in.
Yes, sir.
May we start at childhood?
Of course.
So where'd you go to elementary school? And just tell us briefly, what was it like growing up? Specifically, I assume you were one of the tallest folk in your class.
Yes.
How'd you process that?
Oh my gosh, I had such a wonderful childhood. You know how people are like, oh, my mom and my dad, they were just so mean to me, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Had such a wonderful childhood. You know my dad, Major Adams, track star, coming out of Carter and going to TSU, still has records in the Drake Relays Hall of Fame of thing. So, yeah. My dad actually was, my mom and my dad actually are the reasons that I was not, I was not like self-conscious about my height. Because, of course, my mom was shorter, but my dad was taller. And, of course, every girl's dad is her superhero. And so when my dad was like, hey, looking good, you're getting taller, Of course, you know, my chest went out a little more, and I'm just smiling. And so I went to Turner Elementary.
Shut up.
Went to Turner Elementary, Third Ward. Come on now. Yes.
You lived in Third Ward?
We lived in Third Ward.
Is that right?
When I was growing up, and then we moved to the Southeast Side.
Got it.
And I went to Madison for.
Oh, you didn't?
Yes, I did. Madison.
And they
not Madison, Madding Elementary School from 3rd grade to 6th grade. And that's when 6th grade was not a part of middle school.
You're showing your age now.
Yes, I am, but it's okay because I look good for my age.
You do.
I ain't gonna say how old I am, but you know.
Well, they can Google you and find out pretty quickly.
Look, some of my Rothschild Sterling Raiders, they know how old we are, and we look good right now. Amen. But we went from Madding to Albert Thomas. I went to Albert Thomas. Yes. Because we were right there off of, it wasn't called Martin Luther King Drive. At the time, it was called South Park.
That's right.
South Park Street.
That's right. And
so we lived there for a couple of years. And the thing was, my dad was getting promoted in HISD. Mm-hmm. When we were on Hirondale, he was, you know, he just had his bachelor's in history and social science and stuff like that. Then he started working on his master's. Well, he got his master's when we were there. And then we moved to the other side, closer to Hobby Airport, in that area right around Hartman Middle School. And so we changed over to Hartman Middle School. And it was a wonderful thing, you know, didn't grow up trying to figure out what life was all about. Had great parents, great grandparents, and aunts and uncles who poured into us. So there wasn't this thing that, oh man, what am I going to do? You know, how do I occupy my time? Because because my dad was an athlete, we were always doing athletic stuff. My dad would take us out on the weekends and we would run miles at the track. And I believe...
So did you run track in high school?
I did not run track in high school, but I did play tennis in high school. But here's the thing. What my dad instilled in me early as a kid worked for me as I grew older. Because with tennis, you know, and with any sport, you run your couple of miles before practice to get your stamina up, to get that, you know, that heart rate going and things like that. So I didn't have a problem doing that because of what my dad taught me. And I'm actually working on a book called I'm Still Running, Dad. From Hartman, I went to Sterling Senior High. Sterling Raiders, what's up? Yes, a lot of y'all.
That's the second shout out she gave.
Yes, I did. So y'all make sure you remember that. And so from Sterling, I went to U of H first. Yes, I did.
That's not in your bio.
That is not in the bio because, you know, hey, there's certain things you can control. There are certain things you control.
And that would be one.
Hey, a sidebar. Those of you who have Wikipedia pages, control your Wikipedia page because a whole lot of folks are lying on y'all out there, okay? Anyway.
Good advice right there.
But here's what happened at U of H. I had way too much fun. My second year, not my first year.
You had less fun at TSU?
Wait, listen. I had way too much fun my second year of school at U of H. Because, you know, now I'm in the Good News Gospel Choir and I'm just, you know, I'm going all over. I'm, you know, doing things and stuff. And I'm like, I don't think I got to go to class. I'm like, no, ma'am. Your grandfather's paying for your stuff. You need to go to class. And so by the time I became a junior, I found out what that lackadaisical attitude in my sophomore year did. And so, you know, I was always a communications major, but they were like, hey, you're going to have to wait an extra year to get your internships and this like that. Now, mind you, I did go to class.
Due to lack of credits or lack of passing or what?
No, I passed, but it was lack of participation.
Oh, I see.
You know, I was too busy trying to sing.
Gotcha.
And they were like, no, you need to come and do this thing that we're doing with, you know, so on, so on, so on, so on. And they're like, she didn't show up again. Oh. So that made a big, gigantic difference, which is why I tell young people all the time, including my daughter, learn how to show up.
Learn how to show up.
You don't want to be the one that is unreliable.
Right.
You never want to be that person.
That sounds like a chapter in a book.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Learn how to show up. And so what happened was, you know, with being the oldest of 6 kids, trying to show the younger kids, you know, how to do this thing and navigate life and blah, 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 blah. My grandfather's like, hey, you're going to have to graduate, and you're going to have to graduate like quickly. So you're gonna have to figure this out. And you know, and this is what I tell people, Pastor. Yeah. You need parents and grandparents in your life that are going to tell you the truth no matter what, no matter if it hurts your feelings or whatever. Because now we have this soft generation where everything hurts their feelings. They want to cancel everybody for everything. It's like, you want to cancel me because I told you that purple doesn't go with that hot pink like that? So you trying to, gotcha. Cancel me, hon. But anyway, you know, when my grandfather said that, something hit me. I'm like, whoa. Now, to add to it, I was still singing with the Southeast Inspirational Choir. And that's why I said, you know, singing was all in the way of everything. So I'm singing with the Southeast Inspirational Choir. I'm singing with the Good News Choir. I'm also doing things every now and then with Michael McKay and Redeemed because I would come in with that.
Yeah,
and so I'm missing.
And you're in school too.
And I'm in school, and I'm missing these opportunities to go to, say, a Channel 39 and do some, you know, walk with the anchors, walk with the camera people, do all of that. Because I'm like, well, you know, hey, I have an engagement. You know, hey, girl, you ain't that live. Cut it out. It's not your engagement. It's the choir's engagement. Right. And so I went over to TSU, and I talked to a good friend of my father's, Dr. McElroy. And oh my gosh, I miss him so, even to this day. He said, Adams, I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm going to tell you just like your daddy would tell you. What are you doing? You're about to mess up your future. And he said, now, the good thing is you have more than enough credits to graduate, but you're going to have to do 18 hours this semester and 21 hours the next semester in order to graduate on time. Wow. And I said, well, here's the thing. I am not about to disappoint my dad. I'm not about to disappoint my mom. I'm not about to disappoint my family. And I buckled down and I got done and did it. And that's why I am a TSU graduate.
So did you keep your schedule and just got less sleep, or what? How did
all of the above. I studied almost 24/7. At the same time, I had a part-time job at Save-On. That's how you know how old I am.
The young folk like Rose, she said that like, what's Save-On?
What's Save-On? Right, he's way too young
older
to
folk
even
fall out
know.
of jazz.
They're way too young to know what Save-On was, you know.
So you did that plus the singing plus school?
I did plus the singing plus school.
You didn't sleep.
No, I did not. But here's the prayer I prayed, though. Even at that young age of 20, I said, Lord, if you would allow me to get the most amazing sleep in the hours that I have, I promise you I will finish this out. Yeah. And I graduated 1983.
She told the year?
Yeah, of course. I ain't ashamed. Listen.
You can Google her.
Yes, you can. And so I believe that was the start. You know how you're at the starting gate of a race? I believe that was the start of how I knew how to navigate every part of my life, no matter how difficult it was.
That's good. So you graduated and you started teaching school right away?
No, I did not. That's a whole nother story. So, Dr. McElroy made sure that I graduated and I got my internship at the CBS affiliate at the time, which was Channel 11,
correct,
which is still our CBS affiliate,
right.
But it was under Columbia at the time.
Yeah.
And when I graduated, because I was under Alma Newsom and Carolyn Campbell. Carolyn Campbell was my boss, and Alma Newsom was her boss. So
right.
I had these great women to look up to and follow, and we did all types of great things. Remember, and you may remember this. I know your crew won't. Remember the PSA?
They're way too young except for one.
The remember the PSA with Nympha at what was the Astrodome?
Yeah.
When she talked about diabetes and all of that stuff. I worked on that.
Did you really?
I did work on that, and I was so proud of my work. I was there on site and, helping out and everything. And a shout out to Carolyn Campbell. I just love that woman. And Alma Newsom, God bless her. Oh, gosh, they were, to me, some of the most important women in my life when it came to what was possible in media.
Right.
Because remember, I'm in Houston, so there is no Oprah.
Right.
So what I see is Alma Newsom on television with the rest of the cast and stuff. And then I get a chance to talk to an Alma Newsom and listen to what she did to get to where she was, and how hard she had to work, and how she had to be there 30 minutes early, and this and this and that, and research on her own some of the stuff that was coming through her then desk, which we now know, computers and things like that.
Sure.
And so when I came back that week, they said, okay, we think we're able to hire you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, good. So the weekend, I go over to the Pontiac dealership on I-10, and I buy me a candy apple red Firebird with the T-tops. Doc, listen. You already know what's going to happen, right? So I traded my Ford Granada, and those of you from Sterling don't even
what color was your Ford Granada?
I'm not talking to you about my Ford Granada. But
we had a Ford Granada too.
Did you really?
My mom and dad did. Burnt orange.
No.
Dark burnt orange.
No, mine was chocolate brown.
Yeah.
But I kind of messed it up in high school one day, and I had this Bondo spot on the left side that looked like.
Bless his name.
Oh my gosh, that is so horrible.
That's okay.
So I get back to work on Monday, and I'm just like driving in, and and the guard is like, "All right, Miss Adams, all right, I see you." I park in my little space, and I walk in, and Carolyn is not looking happy, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then I'm walking a little, going to get me some coffee, because that was my thing. I knew I was going to be there a while. I go get my coffee, and everybody's like, they're solemn. I'm like, "Hey, what is going on?" And the church girl in me is like, "We believe in God. What is going on here?" Come on, God is great. He's greatly to be praised. What is wrong with our attitudes today?
And he gave me a new car.
Right. I didn't even get a chance to brag about the new car before they told me, we've been bought out by Belo, by the Belo Corporation.
Right.
And they promised us that nothing is going to happen to jobs, but we're thinking that a whole lot is going to happen. Child, let me tell you, by Wednesday, it was
2 days later.
You know that Beach Boys song, "Wipe Out." They wiped out so many people.
Google it, Rose.
Goodness.
I know you don't know anything about wipeout.
Oh my gosh, they wiped out so many people, and I was one of those people they wiped out.
Yeah.
And so I have this $300 car note, which was a whole lot at that time.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what we gonna do? Bishop Paul S. Morton. Oh my God, I love him for life. He called me because that's when they had the Gabriel Supper Club, the Gospel Supper Club in New Orleans. He's like, you know, I would love for you to come and do a whole weekend for us. And, you know, we're going to spread everything out. You know, we're going to have your hair and makeup, blah, 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 blah. And he was actually the first person who booked me, who let me know what type of things to ask for, what type of things to, you know, to, and not demand, but, you know, but require. Because if you're going to be on television or whatever, like there, you know, I had hair and makeup come to the house today because this is not just, you know, I'm just on TV with Pastor. You know, this is this is real. This lives in infamy. So I just can't show, you know, I just can't show up like, you know, looking like, oh, okay, yeah. She looked like she just came from the gym. But no, but he showed me, and I thank God for so many amazing people in my life, because they showed me how to navigate this whole thing we call gospel stardom. And it started with that. And so for a whole 3 months, I was able to pay my car note on what he gave me and then some. So I was like, yes.
Looking for more dinner date.
Looking, what? Please understand.
Bishop Martin, if you listen, I can sing. or I'll do makeup or anything.
No, sir. No. Bishop, we love you, but no. Yeah, so after that, the 4 months passed because I tried to do a bank gig that didn't work out because the young lady who was over me had just barely graduated from high school, and she came in one day filling her oats, tell me, don't you know how to count? I started to say, because sometimes you have to sing.
To keep from cussing.
No, to keep from fighting. See, I'm the oldest of 6 kids. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. I got hands.
I see.
You know, I got hands that can help you.
I got you. So Yolanda skipped the cussing and went straight to the cutting.
Oh yeah. Because see, the thing about it is that they can record you cussing. No pun intended. Jesus help us all. But they can record you doing that. Now they're going to have to get to their phone. To catch you fighting. So I'm just, but see, the Lord has truly like. And so I told the young lady who, when I tell you this young lady, Brenda, she's a member of Dr. Ratliff's church. She got me the job. And V. Michael McKay is my sweetheart. I love him for life. Got me the job. And I was like, oh, gosh, you know, I can't do this. She said, I totally get it. You know, I understand. But, you know, we love you and we love you forever. I'm like, because that little girl ain't going to talk to me like that. And so I left. I called my godmother. I said, you know, I just let go of a job because so-and-so happened, blah, 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 blah. She said, girl, listen, you are so great with kids because at our churches, of course, we, you know, Theola Booker would allow me to teach the young people how to do parts and things like that. I have such a rich history here in Houston.
You do.
I really do. Yeah. She would, you know, because we were at Outreach Baptist Church, which is down the street from Greater St. Matthew's Baptist Church on Jutland. And she would have me come in and teach them. We would do seminars, and I would teach them parts and teach them songs and stuff like that. And, you know, that would sustain me a while. And my godmother said, "You love kids so much. Why don't you come over here and just substitute? Substitute until you get something that you actually want." And so I get to the job, and the principal falls in love with me, Bonnie Weber. Oh my gosh, Bonnie Weber. She says, "You know, we love you. We have a long-term substitute position. We would love for you to take it, blah, blah, blah." Parents were excited. The kids were excited. They were learning things that, you know, at an easier pace. Not because I was just so wonderful, but because I could pinpoint, okay, this kid learns this way. That kid learns this way. This kid is a little shy because of whatever. And remember, I'm the oldest of 6 kids, so I understand how all 5 of my siblings work. We all are born of the same people, but we're not the same person. And so that worked because it was like, oh, wait a minute, you're doing really well. Why don't you go back, get your teaching certificate, blah, 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 and on and on and on. Dr. Cherry Gooden, TSU, oh my gosh, I love that woman so much. She said, "Adams, look, I knew your mama, I knew your father, all of that stuff. You better get in here and you better get this whole thing done." She's like, you're only 20 credits away from a degree in education. And I'm like, you know, I'm here anyway. I've got to do the certification anyway. Well, why not do it? And that's how I started teaching.
Wow.
Yes. I know, it's a whole lot. We could just do 5 hours of just my Houston history.
Yeah. Well, Houston's glad you're here for sure.
And I am so glad I was born in Houston. Let me tell you why. And this is not to, you know, you and I have known each other forever. This is not to, you know, wag the dog and all of that. But the history in your family with your dad's tailor shop right there on, you know, on what is now Emancipation.
Right.
Right across the street was where my dad was lifeguard at Emancipation Pool.
I didn't know that.
For years.
Is that right?
That's how close the connection between our families is.
Small
and
world.
Every summer, May through August, every single day, my siblings and I were at the pool with my dad.
Is that
so
right?
we were in close proximity with the greatness that is your family. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I know.
Super. Well, you know, when I asked you to come, and thank you again for coming, I said we'd talk about anything but music.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to hold to that, I think.
Okay, it's totally up to you.
Maybe. But I want to ask you this.
Okay.
Not about music. And, you know, my grandmother used to say, "It's a poor dog won't wag his own tail."
Okay.
Tell us, what all do you have going on right now?
Oh, my God.
Tell us about the emerging empire.
Wow.
Let's start with the food.
Let's start with the food.
Tell us about your food line that's going to open up.
The food line is...
Listen to this.
It's the most recent... Okay, sorry.
Drum roll, please.
Okay, sorry.
Got it. Team. And I knew this was going to happen. I told myself this morning, I said, "Self, time is going to fly by."
Yes.
And it is already.
Yeah.
It's 1:27. Tell us about the food. I want y'all to know this sister is about to have her own food line in Trader Joe's.
Yes.
How many folk tell you that? It look like what I've heard like Trader Joe's.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said before, I was born into one of the most amazing families that God created. Because my dad, who came from very loving environment, but not wealthy or, you know.
Yeah.
His thing always was learn as much as you can about everything that you can that excites you.
I like that.
And I've always been this person who loves, of course, from my dad, I love exercise. And, you know, we talked about that before and how, you know, I had to stop my memorial running thing because I love running. And that goes back to my childhood. And so I look at my life, I look at the things that I consume. I look at the things that make me excited, the things that that I wouldn't pass in a store. We all have to eat.
Right.
You know, that's certain things. Food, clothing, shelter. They've always told us as we grew up that those are the things that make the world go round.
Right.
Because you have commodities, blah, 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 blah. We're not even going to go into the stock market kind of thing.
Right.
And so I started thinking about how I have been able to sustain my my muscle tone and all of that kind of stuff at my age, you know, and how leaving the negative things behind and all of that kind of stuff really does keep you in a space where you just don't have time for the, you know, for the dumb stuff. And so I said, well, if I could give some of my nutritional secrets, and they're really, really simple, they go back to my childhood. Whatever you eat more green stuff on your plate than the other stuff. And that has been since I was a child. My grandmother would cook 2 meals. She would cook a meal on Saturday for all of us because my mom and my dad were very, very busy people. My mom was an instructor, and she was an educator, and my dad was also an educator, coach, blah, 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 blah. And so my grandmother, because there was nobody in the house but her and my grandfather, she would cook for us. So she would send food on Saturday by my grandfather, and my grandfather would always go to wine gardens. Yeah, y'all don't know nothing about that. And go to wine gardens, and he would stock up on apples and oranges and grapes and cherries and all of this good fruit. And so that is my legacy. I don't have a legacy of fast food and fried food and this and that. Our stuff was grilled. Our stuff was baked. Our stuff was roasted, broasted, all of those things. So broiled. And so I'm like, the opportunity came from a young man that has been a part of our lives, Uncle G, who manages a lot of gospel artists now. He came from the Master P camp. And he said, hey, sis, someone asked about you, and, you know, I'm giving you their information. I said, well, why don't you give them my attorney's information? Come to find out that this corporation is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and they saw, and this is why you have to be so obedient and listen to the voice of God. They saw me on something that had to do with, I think it was the 4th of July celebration on one of the PBS stations or something like that.
Show.
That's exactly.
Yeah,
and so
with the red, white, and blue.
Yes, the red, white, and blue. Don't even start in 2021.
And you came out between the columns.
My gosh, yes, I did. I came out between the columns.
Yeah, I saw that
and
shit.
so they saw the same thing. And so they were like, you know, what can I do to bless this woman? And they had this huge food company. Now, I was in a partnership about 6 years ago with a company that was supposed to bring out the turkey burgers and the veggie patties and things like that. So I've always been into nutrition, but for some reason that didn't work. And I know what the reason was, because 3 months later, there was a huge bird flu outbreak. And so they had to get rid of all of the turkeys and stuff like that. And see, can I just stop here and do a ministry moment? Because in my life, I have known when to allow God to just be God, and when to let Yolanda shut up and listen. And that was the time that I was not supposed to question God. That was the time I was not supposed to ask God, why me, Lord Jesus? No, I was supposed to say, you know what? Your will be done. I will be still and know that you are God. So fast forward to 2020, we start talking about manufacturing these dinners that will take care of the nutritional value, but they're also scrumptious. Because here's one of the things that I know for a fact. Now, I can, you know, be a sucker for punishment because I'm the kind of person, I don't need a lot of sugar. But, my sister or my brother, they may need a little honey or something to sweeten whatever, because I drink green tea straight, I drink black tea straight, I drink black coffee straight, all of that kind of stuff. And so with the new products that are coming out, and they'll be out before Thanksgiving, thank God, you have a whole meal. You have your veggies, you have your protein, you have your carbs, you have everything, even your desserts. But they're desserts in such a way that you don't even know you're getting greens in a chocolate pudding or a greens in a souffle or this or this or that. I mean, it's gonna be so I'm so excited about
That's pretty geek. I'm excited about it too.
Excited
It's
about
not even
it.
my product line. I'm
Yes.
excited about it.
Yes.
That's good. Time out. I think we need to, Charles, let's acknowledge and remember the persons who've made the transition and who've gone on to be with the Lord. We try to do this around 1:30, Yolanda, every Friday.
Yes.
So we want to be in prayer for Betty, for the Betty Gabriel family. And I think that's the only one. Is that the only one? Yes, sir. So please remember her family in your prayers. As you see, Yolanda, everybody knows you.
Aww.
Everybody's hollering at you.
Hey.
Let's do a little rapid fire before we talk about the emerging empire.
Yes.
You
Okay.
ready?
Rapid fire. Let's go.
Favorite secular male artist?
Favorite secular male artist living?
Or dead?
No, living.
Okay.
Stevie Wonder.
Of course.
Favorite male artist gone on to be with the Lord in Jesus' name, amen, Luther Vandross.
Favorite Christian male artist?
Favorite Christian male artist, Toby Mac.
Really?
Toby Mac. Favorite gospel male artist, it's a toss. It's a toss.
Give
It's
us
a
both of them.
toss. It's a toss. Brian Courtney Wilson and Donnie McClurkin. Two of my favorite people in the whole wide world.
Good people.
Good people. Really
Yeah.
good people.
One or two qualities you must have in a friend.
Oh, first quality you must have in a friend is positivity. Second quality you must have in a friend is trustworthiness.
Biggest disappointment, personal or professional, that you've had to overcome?
Wow. That's really, really hard because I know we have disappointments in life, and Doc, come on now. Disappointments are actually us not getting what we think we want, but God knowing better and not giving us what we think we want.
But we still have to process it.
But we still have to process it, though. So biggest disappointment, I'm going to be honest. The disillusion of our contract with Radio 1. That was the biggest
Really?
That was the
Bless
biggest.
your heart,
That was
Yolanda.
the biggest disappointment because, although it was the Yolanda Adams morning show,
Yeah.
I had 10 people that I employed.
Yeah.
And so having to tell them that because of the way that radio was turning
Right.
in that company,
Right.
not in the industry,
Right.
but in that company,
Right.
that they no longer had a job. And sometimes when people are just adjacent, they get the fallout for no reason.
Right.
And I never want to hurt anybody that I've influenced. So that for me was my biggest disappointment. I mean, come on, heartbreak, we deal with that all the time. Child, look, if you're an ex for a reason.
Some folk deal with it better than others, I'm here to tell you.
Yes, and as you can see, I'm dealing with it well.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That takes care of the life of the divorce piece. So why, I know this isn't really rapid fire, but let me throw it out anyway.
Okay.
Why is it that folk like to fornicate before they get married, then once they get married, they practice abstinence?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know about that. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you why they do that. You know, and that's a huge saying I saw on a post one time that, you know, there's more sex happening in the church than out of the church. And I think it's human nature to get used to what you have in your hand. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what you have in your hand could be the most precious, priceless commodity in the world. But to you, because somebody else's is all lit up with lights and liposuctioned and plasticized and all of that, it looks better than what you have that's priceless, because you're always trying to chase that high. You're always trying to chase that thing that never satisfies. And it's not that person. If you're not satisfied, there's something in you that has to be satisfied. If I'm satisfied, it has to be quenched. Ask yourself why you need to have every single new something that comes on the market. You know, here's the thing. We've grown up with science and marketing experts who know human nature. If you look at the club circuit, there are folks who open a new club every 6 to 8 months because they know that after that first, oh my gosh, and they have this and they have, you know, this and they have that at this place, that's going to wear off because it's human nature. And that is why God tells us all the time to renew our minds. Renew it. You're already new. You already have this great capacity, but renew your mind to make sure that you're not taking stuff for granted that you should be adoring.
Right. A lot of comments we don't get to you because I don't want you sending me hate emails during the week, but I got to ask you about this.
Hate.
I know you follow the world and the country. You're well read. Georgia passed that vote suppression thing yesterday with Iowa, by the way, right behind them. They're calling this deal the Jim Crow 2.0.
Yeah.
Say a word about that. I know you got feelings and thoughts about it.
First of all, we need a whole year for me to talk about that.
I know we do.
Here's why your vote, your voice, all of that stuff is so important. For someone to take steps to take us back 200 years.
Excuse me, it'd be illegal for you to do this in line.
Exactly.
Voting in Georgia.
I saw that. Not just that. Look, I'm going to act like this lemon is actually an apple. You've been standing in line 2 hours, and I can't give you this apple to sustain you to make sure your sugar is okay so that you can stand in line to continue to vote. Now, what I will say to my people, because we know how this works. There are people who have been in power for years who don't want to have this new wave that is coming. Listen, it's called progression. It's called momentum. It cannot stop. And we saw that during this last presidential election.
Yeah, and the
it's called momentum.
Yep.
You're not going to stop people from doing what they have a right to do legally. So now you have to illegally change the system. Because that is unconstitutional to say that a person cannot have water, which is a basic fundamental thing that helps us, helps us sustain our lives.
Even Republicans are saying this is going to backfire.
It's going to backfire, and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
It's going to backfire. Like I said, momentum. Child, listen. God is perpetual. He's everlasting. He's ever moving. He's ever, ever. Which means there's no stopping that.
Right.
You cannot stop the world from changing from overt racial domination to people coming together and realizing, hey, we all have been victims of this system. And so don't send me no hate. See, pastor can't tell y'all because he's a pastor. I'm just an assistant. So I can tell you off. Send me some nasty notes if you want to. I got something that'll help you. I keep trying to tell you, I'm not going to cuss you. I got hands. I got hands. My hands going to help you, then my hands going to lay hands on you so you get better. But here's
holy hands.
Here's the thing, though. The thing is, there is this rise in, and I was just talking to my pastor. Shout out to Dr. Ed from Abundant Life Cathedral. I was just talking to my pastor about
Pastor,
this.
We still shifting over here.
Yes, it's okay. I know. Don't you love the shift?
I do.
I was just telling him that years ago, about maybe 16 years ago, there was this thing in Texas where our then governor was trying to get these vaccines to places of color to stop sexually transmitted cancer.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do.
Sexually transmitted cancer? What does that mean? There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. And then there was a study that just came out this Monday, as a matter of fact, that says that vaccine did no good in stopping, sexually transmitted diseases or anything like that, and it did nothing to stop cancer.
Right.
So you are vaccinating young people, young women between the ages of 10 and 13, 10 and 15. You know what that's for. We know what that's for. And anybody who is not researching this stuff, you need to check it for real, because there is absolutely no way that I am going to put my 10-year-old daughter in harm's way.
That's crazy.
So you can do this and this and that. And then 2 weeks after we ran the story on the Yolanda Adams Morning Show with Brother Larry Jones, after we ran that, they found out that this company was sending these people to Switzerland, and they were sending them to Tahiti and sending them places and stuff like that. I'm not going to, talk about the company or the vaccine and stuff like that. And it's not the COVID vaccine. So we're not, that's not what this was. This was almost 16 years ago. So y'all know what I'm talking about. Now you have young people who are now 26 years old, 29 years old, getting married, trying to have children, and they can't.
Not happening. Not happening.
And you think that we are not being, used as pawns in every aspect.
Right.
It's like, okay, and so if you speak out against it, then all of a sudden you're an enemy of the state and they coming after you. It's like, come on, man. This don't work.
Right.
And so it is, they want you to fear each other. They want me to fear you.
Right.
They want you to fear me.
Right.
She's loud. She's boisterous. She's this. She's that. She's on and on and on. But she's telling the truth.
Right. Right.
And so if I fear you, you and I don't come together to work together to make the world a better place.
That's correct.
So if I can get the Asians against the African Americans, if I can get the African Americans against the Hispanics, if I can get the Hispanics against the Asians, if I can get all of y'all yelling and screaming and fighting and biting and scratching, then I've done my part. All I have to do is stop you for 4 years. And if I stop you for 4 years, I have stopped a generation from coming together for 10 to 20 years.
Ooh, Yolanda Adams. Let's hit something that's on the screen. They want to talk. I still want to talk about this emerging empire.
Yes.
Are your meals vegan?
Yes, there will be vegan meals. We're not doing total vegan meals because there are some people who are, non-vegan, but they want to eat great food. And as we all know, there are some vegan products that are extremely processed that are better for you than regular food.
Precisely.
So we have a nutritionist who is helping us with everything. So yes, we will have some vegan and we will have some regular.
Chris W., this is great stuff. I really miss the Yolanda Adams Morning Show, SHO. Have you considered podcasts? Continue utilizing the gift you have if you so led.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris W. We are in the process of making the Yolanda Adams Morning Show a television or multimedia kind of situation. And that will be coming forth later.
Interesting to hear about Yolanda's short years in Houston. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you,
Gwen
Anita.
Mays, happy birthday, Gwen
Miss
Mays.
Gwen.
Yeah, all right. Leona Perez loved Yolanda as a teacher. She's speaking from experience.
Thank you for experience. Thank you.
Jennifer, I was in her class.
Jennifer,
Lord. You remember her? Oh, no.
Yes. Come on now. I remember my students. Here's how, and Jennifer will tell you if she will type a little bit later. Jennifer will tell you there were certain things that we would do in my classroom that were so different from everybody's classroom.
Of course.
But yeah, of course, I'm extra. I come from two educators.
Yeah.
And so my background is knowing how to hone in on everything that you see is different with kids. So you can couple kids with like-minded kids or couple them with kids who will help them build, self-esteem and all of that kind of stuff. And we would do things in the room. Oh my gosh, I would start the day off before all of this stuff, before all of this, multimedia teaching was going on, because I was teaching in the late 80s, 90s. And so we would start off with Don't Worry, Be Happy by Bobby Farron.
Yeah.
And so we would sing the whole song and dance and,
you got me dancing.
Yeah, no, seriously, because you think about the words and you're like, oh my God. And we would do that, and that always made the kids feel so much better no matter what they had dealt with, because I taught in inner city, and sometimes kids would deal with things that I wouldn't even know about until like lunchtime, when I got a chance to really talk to them to find out what really happened, at your house, whatever. And you can tell any astute adult who sees kids not having a good day.
Astute.
Yeah. And, you can pull them to the side without embarrassing them.
Right.
Because that was my thing. I never wanted a child to feel embarrassed. I never wanted a child to feel alone. I wanted them to feel like a community.
Right.
And so when you wipe out that negativity early in the morning, they have such a great chance of total success for the rest of the day. So thank you, great. Jennifer.
Learning so much about Houston culture, gifts, talents, especially from Ms. Adams. I don't know who that was, but thank you so much.
Nope. Hey, Miss Cynthia.
Cynthia said you should run for office.
No, I should not, because my hands will get me in trouble.
I love you. Tashia said, love you. Your song has got me through many things. Alma was my mom's best friend in high school. You know Alma?
Yes.
And continued to be friends until
she passed away. Thank you so much. She's a great, when I tell you, that woman was such a great impact. Alma Newsom.
Yeah.
Great impact on my life. Great impact on my life. And because, hey, I was a little, let's just tell the truth. I was a little scrub coming out of college, trying to, break through the world and all that kind of stuff. For anyone to take the time to say a word of encouragement or give you instruction or things like that, that means a lot. And I tell young people all the time, especially young people who I mentor. I talk to Anita Wilson a lot. I talk to Jacqueline Carr a lot. And so many young people in the music industry, period, not just gospel. But I tell them, when you are in the room with greatness, always talk less, hear more.
Lord.
Listen more.
Yes.
Because somebody who's gone through everything you want to do has a lot to say about, you know, what you want, what you think you know. Because a lot of times we think we know stuff. Right. I had the privilege of having my mom and my grandmother for a lot of years of my life. Both of them have gone on to be with the Lord. But one of the things that I loved about my grandmother is that although she did not get her master's or her doctorate, she had a wealth of wisdom. And if I would just take her in the back on the patio and we just, you know, watch the golf carts drive by and stuff like that, you know, she's like, oh, they having a parade, huh? I'm like, no, it's not a parade, Granny. They're having a tournament.
Right.
And she said, you know, I've lived a long time. She passed when she was 98 years old. Bless
God.
She said, I've lived a long time and God still is amazing me every single day with stuff I see. Now, from a 98-year-old, that means that as long as I'm living, God has a chance to add to my life on a daily basis if I'm willing to be open and receive and just love him the way I'm supposed to. Amen. And be in place.
Be in place.
Be in place.
In the right place.
In the right place.
So look, we might have 4 or 5 minutes left.
Whatever you want to
Tell
talk
us
about.
Come this
on now.
emerging empire. Tell us
oh
what are you doing?
Oh my gosh. For those of you who don't know, I have a jewelry line. Yes, I have my big chunky bracelet on right now. You
wait
may
a minute.
have seen
2 or
that.
3 sisters have asked me. About your clothing line. They've said, I'm tall, where can I get a good clothing line?
Oh my gosh.
So include that, please.
Yeah, the clothing line we're trying to tweak because the company that was supposed to put it in different venues before the pandemic has now filed for bankruptcy. And here's the wisdom of God.
Again.
Here's the wisdom of God again. I am not tied to a contract that would not have paid me, number one, because of the bankruptcy, because now they're shielded from paying their debts to their vendors and stuff like that. And then now there's a way through Amazon, through Etsy, through all of these other different places where we can manufacture it ourselves and then do it totally online, because we still don't know how long we're going to be able to sustain this type of living during this COVID kind of thing. They're saying to the end of 2021 we'll be able to get back to normal, or the beginning of 2022. Whatever it is, I just thank you all so much for your continued support. And if you go to YolandaAdamsLive.com, you will be able to see everything, including the jewelry. Yes, sir. and the and the handbags. I'm so proud of my handbags. Oh my gosh. Here's the thing. We're so we're so above par when it comes to colors, sizes, styles, all of that stuff. I have too many women in my life. I have too many men in my life who need different things. So we have a backpack. We have a fanny pack. We have we have several crossbodies. We have briefcases. We have portfolios. We have everything. So anything and everything that you all need, Yolanda Adams. Go to YolandaAdamsLive.com.
1 minute left. You have makeup?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Because what I'm working on is a skincare line. Because people want to know, how are you, almost 60 years old, looking like you look, your skin texture, all of that kind of stuff, and there's no real cover up. Because I use it. We're developing this cream, and shout out to my doctor, Dr. Navarro Stafford, who passed away a couple of weeks ago. He and I were developing this cream that I've been using it for the last 15 years. It has changed the structure of my skin. It's supple, it's not dry, it's not a whole lot of things. And it's not just my face, it's my body as well.
But you eat well also, Yolanda.
Well, yeah, I eat well, exercise, get enough rest. You got to get enough rest too.
Yeah.
Stop stressing over stuff you can't change. You let them people do what they do. Stop worrying about folks that ain't worrying about you.
There you go. Look, we got the Passover meal tomorrow night. See you the Resurrection Weekend. Close up with 10 seconds. Close up 10
Yes, I love
seconds.
you guys so much. God is amazing. And don't ever forget, as long as you're breathing, he has a super duper plan for you. So stay in it, all right?
Later. Love you. Thank you, Yolanda Adams, and thank you